This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight. Speaking out, the former Prime Minister sets the record straight on his government's acquisition of 9 Defence Force vessels from Damen Shipyard Group, as officials in the Netherlands investigate claims of corruption. Plus, Dorian still packing a punch as the tourism minister confirms visitor numbers will not meet the 2019 expectations. And find out the early signs of diabetes.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, former Prime Minister Christie is tonight responding to allegations of bribery involving his administration's acquisition of those 9 Defence Force vessels from Netherlands-based Damen Shipyard Group back in 2014. In a statement, Christie says he is not aware of any impropriety or irregularity of any kind in this matter and is encouraging government to cooperate fully with the relevant authorities in the matter. This after it was revealed that an investigation is being conducted by officials in the Netherlands concerning the award of a contract to Damen Shipyard Group by the Bahamas government for the construction of ships and certain civil work for the Defence Force. Christie says the decision to award Damen Shipyard the contract was on a recommendation his government met in place in 2012 from the Ingram administration. However, he admits the scope of work in the contract was expanded considerably, which resulted in an increase in cost. The former Prime Minister states that government's payment was to Damen Shipyard and not to anyone else, maintaining transparency through the tender process and negotiations. He also added that the Attorney General's office, as well as legal advisors in Washington, Hogan and Lovell, played major roles in the finalization of the contract. Mr. Christie is now calling on the administration, which he says is in possession of all the files, to provide full information to the Bahamian public and without delay. He is also urging government to cooperate fully with any investigation by Dutch authorities. As Christie says, there is nothing to hide. Additionally, he suggests that public officials involved in the matter publicly confirm whether they are aware of any influence peddling or politically connected lobbying or other improper irregular conduct involved in the contract awarded to Damen Shipyard. The former Prime Minister reiterated he is not aware of any such irregularity or impropriety on part of either his government, the government that preceded his, or any on the part of anyone connected with either government. Well, as the Ministry of Tourism assesses visitor numbers for 2019, Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagler said the numbers will not meet expectations. He told our Kyle Joaquin it was expected after Hurricane Dorian dealt a blow to the country's tourism product and added, a quick rebound is not as easy as it seems.
So the final quarter of the year will not meet expectations. We'll probably be down about 5-6% when we expect it to be up 8, 9, 10%.
When Hurricane Dorian slammed into Abaco and Grand Bahama, destroying homes, businesses, and wrecking lives, it also hammered the Bahamas' tourism product, a hit that caused projections for record numbers to go out the window.
Tourism arrivals were up 12.5%. We were on our way to smash through the 7 million tourist mark, and stopover visitors were growing by a healthy double digits. Cruise arrivals were also up by a healthy double digits, so the Bahamas was on a good wicket. We were doing very well.
Abaco and Grand Bahama represented 17% of foreign visitor arrivals for the Bahamas, with 8% of that coming from Abaco. But with its economic hub now wiped out, it's a long road to recovery for that island. With that, Diagler said, came a shift in plans and projections.
We've had to readjust our marketing plans. We've had to dedicate a lot of resources to getting the message out, educating the traveling public on exactly what was impacted and what was not impacted, try to protect the other 14 destinations from being negatively impacted by the news about the Bahamas, the sort of bad news about the hurricane hitting the country. So we've had to marshal our resources.
Thankfully, he said the Bahamas is an archipelago, with several other islands still open for business where tourists can visit.
Not the entire country was impacted. And so we've gone into let's rescue and let's ensure that persons keep coming to the Bahamas and visiting those islands that have not been impacted as the impacted islands get back on stream. So that's been our mission, that's been our focus.
While the 2019 numbers took a hit, the tourism minister said the focus has already shifted to 2020 and breaking more records.
We expect the rebound to continue, and certainly in the first quarter, if not flat, up 1 or 2%. That's what our forward projections at this time telling us. That's very good, because if you look at destinations like Puerto Rico and St. Martin, 15, 20 months out from the storm, they were only at 70% pre-hurricane levels, Hurricane Irma or Maria, I think it was. We are already back to 80% of pre-Dorian levels. So we're bouncing back. Having no Abaco and having no Grand Bahama will be difficult to replace, but we'll see how we can mitigate those issues.
For Our News Weekend, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
All right, thanks a lot, Kyle. Well, following several fires at BPL's power plant in New Providence, Chairman Donovan Moxey said they have settled with the insurance company in those matters.
Station C, which had the fire, was fully insured. So the assets that were there, in terms of the two generators, 11 and 12, and then the buildings were all fully insured. We finally got to a point with the insurance company where we reached a settlement amount. Now, I'm not able to announce that publicly, but we're waiting to finalize that. On the coverage side of it, we also had business interruption insurance as well, which we've claimed on, and we successfully got paid for the business interruption portion that we actually suffered.
And following those fires in New Providence, the Bimini plant also experienced a fire. As a result of those claims, Moxey said the insurance rates to cover those generators may increase.
All of our assets are fully insured. The only thing that's not insured, which insurance companies don't do, is really your T&D network, which is really going to be the bulk of the cost in Abaco. And we've estimated that the T&D infrastructure in Abaco is going to cost about $50 million to replace, plus. And that's cash that has to come from somewhere.
With the Bahamas leading the world in diabetes prevalence, a local doctor is warning Bahamians of the early signs of diabetes. Our Jared Higgs tells us more.
Diabetes is a disease where your blood glucose levels are too high, and 1 in 7 adults in the Bahamas has it. Dr. Graham Cates, a family physician and president of ACE Diabetes, says many of those people who suffer from diabetes worldwide don't even know.
Globally, we have about 485 million people that have diabetes. 50% of people who have diabetes do not know that they have diabetes because they do not know the signs or symptoms associated with it, nor have they had their blood tested.
Kate says the first thing a person needs to consider are the risk factors.
Those risk factors are obesity, a lack of exercise, poor nutrition, and also having a family history of diabetes. So those persons are at greater risk associated with development of diabetes.
And what should a person look for in their body?
Signs and symptoms that somebody may have of diabetes include excessive thirst, blurring of vision. You may have urinary frequency where you're waking up 3-4 times through the course of the night to go to the bathroom, which is something new that you've never had before. You may have unexpected weight loss, or you may have poor wound healing. Any of these can be signs of diabetes, and certainly if you do have these signs, you want to see your healthcare provider.
Kate says one of the best things people can do is get their annual physical.
As a society, we do not get our regular medicals done, and so we encourage all persons, take the time, see your healthcare provider once a year, get your blood test done, get your blood pressure checked, get your physical examination done so you can know your numbers, because there is power in knowing your numbers.
Kate says ACE Diabetes Group is holding a diabetes expo at the end of this month. He says he hopes the event helps to educate Bahamians about the serious dangers of the disease. Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, thanks a lot, Jared. When Our News, the weekend edition, comes back from the break, the Life for Key Foundation celebrates its 50th anniversary. Stay tuned.